There is no better way to start a video than a little bit of two-step. Now, this video is going to be a little all over the place. I kind of scrapped the last one because it was way too all over the place. So, going to make this one nice and simple. Going to try a slightly new technique with it. So, we'll see how that goes. But that's 2,000 RPM two-step on the old F-body here. Now, this has been a project car for a while, and I used to have it at 4,000, 4,500. That sounds way cooler because it pops, and that's like 80% of the reason anyone has two-step, especially in a not boosted application. So, sounds pretty cool. My name is Nick. You're watching Olsen Auto. Today, we are going to be working on the CBX. Well, I made some good progress in my failed attempt at a video last time, and then the carbs dumped. Roller clip. Well, filled up the fuel tank, and wouldn't you know it, it's dumping out. Hate to see it. I don't know what on earth it is dripping out of, but it's dripping. Yeah, so the carbs dumped all of their fuel over the ground, which in hindsight, I shouldn't have taken the time to put them on without rebuilding them. I was optimistic. Clearly that bit me, but gotta go clean off the bench. I got a carb rebuild kit coming in tomorrow, and gotta pull those carbs back off. Getting them on, you gotta drop the engine. Thanks, Honda. Garage is an absolute mess. Had to dig through this bucket looking for something. This is like the old rusty metal parts bucket, so I had to dump that out. Got to clean that up. Workbench, absolute disaster. Got to clean all of this up. And then the CBX here, you can see we were about to try and start it. Had the little fuel tank there. Carbs are on, airbox is on. Now that I know how to do it, second time should be much easier, but I guess we will see. So we have to clean everything up, get a spot for the carbs, because the kit comes in tomorrow and I want to rebuild it. So see if we can't make this thing run this video. Engine is dropped. 2 mounts there, mount here, mount there, mount there. A lot of engine mounts, big heavy engine. Pop the carbs off and disassemble them. With the carburetors off of the bike, now the next goal is to take a look at each individual carburetor. We're going to pull the bowls off of the bottom side. Have to make sure we drain all the fuel out first. Probably not going to pull the cables off. I don't think they're going to be in the way. And I plan on keeping all of these carburetors assembled as one. We do have here, of course, 6 individual kits that will have all the pieces we need in order to reassemble. This includes jets, needles, everything in between, and importantly, gaskets. I've got most of the fuel. Now we're going to take an overly long screwdriver, 3 screws per bowl. Going to do one at a time, of course. I'm going to try to see if I can keep these on. Seems pretty hard, though. We'll take a look at these, make sure these aren't a problem. I'm just going to leave them on for now, though. Woo! That's still got some fuel in her. Start off with this bowl gasket. Oh, yeah, she's crusty. Look at that. Thing ripped that easy. Look at this. All right, so the carbs, new needles, bowls, drain gaskets, and the float level is checked. So I'm going to hook up the external tank and see if anything's different. All right, once I remove this, it's like turning the fuel on. Dumping. Can we see where that's coming from? So it's been a while since the last clip. As you guys saw in the last clip, the carbs were leaking everywhere. All the O-rings and whatnot didn't fix it. Went at it, did some research, thought it was going to end up being the tubes in the bowls. I'll see if I have any clips saved to show you guys what I'm talking about, but thought it would be that. Apparently a lot of times they can crack. That wasn't the case here, although I thought it was. It ended up being, and now we're going to see in just a second, we're going to see if these leak, ended up being basically, this is your overflow tube and your drain. My drains weren't leaking, but they intersect with the overflow tube, so I believe because my drains weren't seating properly, it was causing the overflow to just start dumping. So, not sure if this actually fixed it, but we're going to hook up the fuel and see if it did. I hope it did. Alright, I guess we're going to see. This would be a lot easier with some clear fuel line. A common complaint with these carburetors is this little guy right here. It's mostly a problem on the 79s, and basically this is a little manifold, if you will, and you can see there's 6 of them, so 1 for each carb. All these overflow lines would generally feed into this, and then there'd be 1 main overflow line coming out the bottom of the bike. Problem is, the way they set this up, it would often pull a vacuum, and when your bike is on the side stand, it would lean over, causing one of your carbs, or I guess technically in this case it would be this carb, to fill up with fuel. And then it would fill the cylinder with fuel. And then you would go to start the bike after a few hours, cylinder's full of fuel, hydrolock with a bent rod. There's a few fixes for it. One of the easiest ones is to just run individual drain lines for each carburetor. That way there, you can't fill up all the, if one carb overflows, you can't fill them all up, or you can't fill up the number 1 cylinder. It's just going to naturally overflow. So went and picked up 15 feet of fuel line, probably a little bit more than I needed. This is 1/8 fuel line. I went with clear just because it probably looks a little bit better. You can see if fuel is flowing through it as well. Kind of prefer clear fuel line, but I digress. 1/8 is a very snug fit on here. No need for a clamp, especially considering it's not supposed to be leaking. So in a perfect situation, it wouldn't matter if it leaked outside the, around the edge or not. But that 1/8 fit very well. Technically, this is 3.5 millimeter fuel line is what it's supposed to run. It's about a 2% difference between 8 and the 3.5. So this stuff fits good. I zip tied it together, got it all on, all cut to just about the same length, about 2.5 feet each. Should be enough to let them all exit right at the bottom of the bike, and then I'll just zip tie them all together, cut them all to the same length. But now it is time to throw these carbs on the bike, run the cables, get the engine back up, get the airbox in, see if this thing runs. It does get repetitive after a while, so I didn't show the reassembly, but carbs went back on much easier than they did last time. Airbox is on, all the wires, exhaust, as you can see, back on. So I think everything's hooked back up. Got the remote fuel tank, because again, no point to bring out the actual fuel tank and risk denting, scratching, whatever. And it's full of rust. So that will solve that problem. Going to jump it, because that battery is absolutely fried, and see if this thing will run. Right there.
Will it idle?
Not really. I just want to be able to diagnose that sound. I think I know what it is, but So the bike does run. It runs kind of good. I mean, I can rev it. I mean, don't think I went past like 4,000 RPM. So it does run. I think I have to mess with the idle a little bit to get it to actually idle. Very odd engine noise, as I know you could hear in that video. So kind of seeming like it's something in the top end. Not too sure. Got to pull it all back apart and see what that noise is. Not really sure how else to diagnose it without going inside of it. So looks like it's cylinder number 4 that's making the sound. So doesn't sound like rod knock. It doesn't seem deep enough. Seems like it's a very fast paced. So something top end would make sense, but I guess we will see. Did get the bike running though, and it doesn't seem to leak anything, which is good. So we at least got that done. I do want to thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully in the next one about the CBX, we'll get everything finalized and make it run a little bit better, and then hopefully battery, tires, all the fun stuff, but we will see. I do want to thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.